Hey guys, welcome back. So in the next few minutes I'm going to show you 3 ways I clean fish. 1, just fillet them with an electric knife, cut the ribs out. 2, we're going to fillet one with a conventional knife or a blade, a non-electric knife. And then 3, we're going to scale one, leave the skin on, and show you what that looks like. I got to eat some of them one time down in Louisiana. Makes the fish taste a little bit stronger, but I like it a lot. So don't go nowhere. Hey, go ahead and hit like and subscribe. It's free. Okay, the first way I'm going to do it, this is just a little 10 or 10.5 inch crappie I caught this morning. So I'm just going to clean them with my electric knife the way I clean them, and then I'll show you how I cut the ribs out. So you want to make that first cut. You got to go under this fin right here. It's tough. So you got to go under that fin, and then kind of let your knife follow that backbone, and it'll fall right down. Then I flip it over. I always keep the backbone towards me. Flip it over, go right underneath that skin, and you got the perfect little fillet. So now the ribs. Here's how I cut the ribs out. Okay, I just take like a regular paring knife, and I just go right, follow them ribs. If everything goes right, you can do it 2 cuts. And there you go, the perfect little fillet ready to eat. Now that's how I clean them. There's not a lot of, if any, left on them ribs. So that's how I clean the fish for myself when I'm going to eat them. One way I have seen some people do, so a lot of people want to try to get them ribs back. There is a very, very thin layer of ribs, and it's, for me, and I've cleaned a lot of fish, it's hard to get that layer of meat off. So I don't worry about it. I mean, it's not very, very much. But I will show you how some people do it and leave them ribs on there, or kind of go underneath the ribs with their fillet knife and try to get a little bit of that meat. And then I'll show you what they both look like side by side. So same fish, again, as I said, I always keep the backbone towards me. I'm going to do the same thing. My hand will get in the way, but I always kind of hold its mouth like that with my fingers. But you got to go under that little fin, and then the same concept. Just follow that backbone down. Your knife will tell you where you're at. Flip it over. So now what you seen me do was I go this way. So if they're going to, so a lot of people that want to try to get the absolute most out of their fillet, cut that little bit off right there, but want to get the absolute most out of their fillet, they want to fillet this rib cage out, and that is much easier if you leave the skin on. So just kind of let your knife go under that fillet, and then there's that fillet, or that rib cage. So get this other one back out. So there is a little bit of difference, not a lot. So you got to decide if that's worth it to you. And then I just take, this is just a bottle opener. Like, you just want to have something you can hold on to that with, since that skin's still on there, and then just fillet this right off. So here's where they lose me on that theory. See how much thinner that piece is here? Because you leave a little bit on there, or you can't get the ribs off smooth. So here's my fillet, the way I clean them. Here's the way they like it. You know what? There's not a lot of difference, so whatever's easiest to you. But the first half is the way I do it. So this next way, same thing as with the electric knife, except we're just going to use a regular fillet knife. So same exact concept. Go underneath that skin, make your cut, and then you kind of got to go right along that backbone. And when you feel I can feel that backbone, and when you, or not the backbone, the rib cage, excuse me. When you feel yourself through that rib cage, then you can stop it, then go ahead and stick your blade all the way through and go to there. And then I just kind of peel this back, kind of fillet as much of that meat right off of that rib cage as I can. Never cut towards yourself. Which I just did, so I didn't get my arm in the way. And then the same concept, just take your regular knife and go right underneath here. Now this way I just did that, you do not have the rib cage in there. So that's kind of a hybrid of both ways to clean them. So here's your fillet, you clean with the regular knife. we'll do the other side too. I'll try to keep my arm out of the way, but I don't know if I can. So same concept, make that cut, and then go with that knife point till you don't feel the rib cage anymore. As soon as you don't feel the rib cage anymore, then just go ahead and go like that. And then I'm gonna cut that one all the way off. I'll show you something else. So then just peel this, follow that rib cage. You're kind of pulling that fillet off of it as you cut through there. Keep your fingers out of the way. And there you go. So now that one's still got the skin on it. So then, because that's going to happen to you whether you mean to do it or not. So get your little fork, pop bottle opener, whatever you got, and then you can just push down on that, and then just slowly, I kind of move my knife back and forth. A lot of people that cut meat for a living, they don't saw, they just slow, steady motion. Anyway, that's how I did it. So that's 2 ways to clean a fillet. That's actually a perfect little fillet. Put it in cold water in an hour, it'd be ready to eat. So the 3rd way, another 10.5, 11-inch crappie. What is the bucket or the bowl of water for? I'll show you. So I'm going to scale this one. And the reason I do this, I didn't think of it, by the way. I watched this on YouTube 2 or 3 years ago. I wish if I could remember the name of the guy that did it, I would say it, but I don't remember it. So the reason we're going to peel all them scales off. And if you've ever scaled a fish, not just out in the open air or on your cleaning board, those scales fly everywhere. But if you do that in this bucket of water, bowl of water, I don't know if you can tell, but not one scale left that water. So there you got a perfectly scaled fish. That skin's actually really soft. So did miss a little bit right there on the very end. Alright, that side's scaled. I'm going to scale this side. Kind of when you scale, I start to tell that you kind of go against the scales, which the scales are layered from the head. So you want to start from the tail, kind of get under them scales, and then they scrape off pretty easy if you go from tail to head. All right. So those of you who've scaled crappie, not in a bucket of bowl of water, know how much a mess that makes. That bowl is half full of scales. So all those scales are right there. So now we're going to fillet this fish with the skin on, and I watched a guy in Mississippi clean them this way. So we're going to go ahead and fillet them kind of like we did the first one, but we're going to stop right about there, and I'll show you why in just a second. So now we're going to flip him over and turn him around. Same concept. Right down that backbone, kind of let your knife, it'll kind of guide you. So there we stopped right at the end of that tail. So what I use to cut this tail off is some little tin snips. And now you've got, let's trim off this, which way the tin snips are going? Trim off that right there, that fin, get rid of that. And there's a perfect little butterfly. And that might sound crazy. I will cut the ribs out. I haven't forgot. But on these small fish, that little, I guess it's not that little, but that tail, that's almost like a potato chip with fish braid. They're good. So now I'm going to go ahead and just snip out. Now I'm going to go ahead and just flip out these ribs. Okay, ribs out on that side. Flip out the ribs on this side. Now you've got a scaled, perfect little butterfly of crappie, and these are delicious. Now it does, well, that is sure is soft. It does make your fish, the fish taste a little more stronger, but with crappie, they're not that strong anyway. You know, it's not overbearing or nothing. If you like the taste of fish, you're gonna like this a lot. And don't forget about that. That's number. We're gonna put that back in the bowl. So it turns out I don't count so much pretty good. We're gonna do one more way. That was 3. which I said I'm going to show you 3 ways. Shit, I'm sweating. That was 3, which I said I was going to show you 3 ways, but actually it's 4. Actually 4. No, 4. 4. All right. Set you here. Now this way, I think I got one that's barely. I got one that's just barely over 9 inches. So I'm going to scale him the exact way. Look at a bowl of water. I'm going to scale him just like we did the last one. And we'll clean him kind of the same way, but yet different. All right. Our 10-inch crappie is scaled. Our 10-inch crappie is scaled. What we're going to do with this one is we're going to clean him whole. So when I do this, I just go, so right here, got to get under that fin again, and I just make a vertical cut just like this. And there's the head of the fish. And then there's a million ways to do this part here. You could put it under, put your knife under there and pull it off. You can lay it on your board and cut it off. But what's easiest for me is, where did I put my little snips? So I just take these snips, snip it right off. I got them going the wrong way. I just take these and snip that right off. That's gone. Snip this top one right off. Turn your snips over. I don't know if this is the best tool for this, but this is what I have without having to go buy something just for this. So, oh, take your time, get all that junk off right there. So, they do have, not all the guts will come with it. So I put my knife flat like that, kind of go through there, kind of aim for his, you know, where the poop comes out. And then you'll end up with, we'll remove this. Then you end up with a whole crappie. All the insides are gone. That's clean. I'll wash that out really good when I get home. So I do this as well. I don't know why I do this with crappie and catfish. What it does, I don't know. And as another thing, I did not think of it. So I just make 3 or 4 little inserts there, or little cuts here, here, and here. That kind of lets the breading get in there. The grease get in there, and it fries up perfect. And it's kind of like a, I don't know what to compare it to, kind of like a T-bone. You know, if you like a T-bone, when the bone's in it, them bones have some flavor. So you can take the skin off if you want them whole without the skin, or you can do it that way with the skin. So give him a rinse off. Show you what we got. A crappie scaled and filleted whole. A crappie scaled and butterflied with the perfect little fish. I think this is where the word fish and chips come from. The perfect little fish potato chip right here. And then you got filleted with the rib cage cut out. And then the way I clean my fish 90% of the time is just like that. Fillet, and you always have that perfect little V there. So I'm sure there's other ways to clean, probably hundreds of other ways to clean crappie. So that's the way I clean mine most of the time. So thanks for watching. Don't go nowhere. Hey, like and subscribe. See you soon.